My name is Matthew Boren. I'm a personal injury attorney with the law offices of Richard Troutman. I practiced nearly 10 years now, and I practice exclusively in personal injury cases. I was in my office one day, and Erica came by, and she talked to me a little bit about what she could do for me and how she could help me out. And I think it was, maybe just a few weeks after that, I had a medical negligence case, and I thought of her and called her, and that's how the relationship began. I had a case, a very unfortunate case, where a 9-month-old infant died. It was a very tragic case, and what happened is the physician failed to properly diagnose and treat a rare disease called Kawasaki's disease. And I didn't know anything about Kawasaki's disease, but I called up Erica and came in, and she gave her some information, and the first thing she did for me was tell me what the standard of care was. What should the physician done to diagnose this case, and then what should he have done to treat the case. And through that information, I was able to settle the case very quickly, a lot quicker than, had I not known anything about Kawasaki's. The doctor committed this negligence actually had a very small insurance policy. So if it weren't for me saving a lot of money using Erica, I would have spent a lot of my clients' money on a very expensive expert. Well, there's a lot of ways that personal injury attorneys like myself can use legal nurse consultants. The most common thing you're going to be asked to do is review and analyze medical records. And I can't understate this enough. These cases have tons of medical records. Nowadays, when everything's digital, everybody's worried about being sued. Hospital records alone can be hundreds of pages. Small cases have 500 or 600 pages of records. I've dealt with complex medical cases with multiple surgeries that have over 10,000 pages of medical records. That's an enormous amount of medical records for any one person to review, not only to review, but to understand and to not miss any important things. There's a bunch of ways you can be asked to analyze. You can ask to provide a medical history, a medical summary, timelines, explain this concept to me, explain this surgery to me. Lawyers are medical laymen. We know some of these things we pick up from doing it for years and years, but we'll never have near the depth of knowledge that you have. You really have to be our intermediary and explain these things to us. We need to know what's going on medically with our client. We need to know about pre-existing conditions. We need to know what these procedures are. A simple surgery isn't necessarily simple. They could be inserting rods, screws, those things we need to explain to a jury and things you need to tell us. These medical definitions, as you know, are hard to understand. We need to know exactly what's happening with our client and exactly, what surgery was performed. So when you explain those things to us, we can explain it to a jury, we can explain it to our client, we'll have a better deposition, we'll have a better trial, we'll have a much better outcome to the case when we know exactly what's going on. Another aspect I would look at is trying to bring in a radiologist to work with that will overread MRI films for you. As a personal injury attorney, I deal a lot with motor vehicle cases. The bulk of most personal injury attorney cases are motor vehicle versus pedestrian, motor vehicle versus motorcycle, any type of motor vehicle, motorcycle accident. So a lot of these cases involve neck and back injuries. I'm sure you've heard that and you're familiar with that. But a lot of times what we do in these cases is try to prove a herniated disc was caused by an accident. They try to prove a herniated disc was not caused by an accident. As you know, MRIs are things that leave a lot to be desired in terms of how perfect these things can be read. The images are a little bit cloudy or not perfect, and there can be a lot of differences in the reading. Their expert's going to say, well, this isn't really a herniated disc. I think it's a bulging disc. And our expert might say, well, no, this is definitely a herniated disc, and you might need surgery one day. So if you can find an independent radiologist you can work with that can provide a cheap overread of films or just an opinion for lawyers, that's somebody they're going to go to a lot. Herniated disc cases, those cases get tried probably more often than anything. It's the most common of the significant type of neck and back injuries. So having a radiologist, if you can find access to one, can be very helpful. So when you find these experts and find these people that can help lawyers, those are things that beyond just your medical knowledge are going to help your practice and help your marketability.